The king in the north! The king in the north!
Yo, as always, like, share, subscribe. Now let's just get into it. So Daniel Tavera had a good question that I wanted to jump on here. I'm gonna answer your other question. I'll probably make another video either today or tomorrow. But this one was good. I had to jump on. He said, do you have fear that the season can go like '07 with high expectations? We had a lot of seniors coming back trying to finish the job from that '06 team that had a good year. Many came back to finish the mission for '07 but failed to do so. Do you think the same thing can happen to the 2023 squad? That's a real good question. And I mean, it's possible, you know what I'm saying? But let me for the younger people and people that just don't remember, in '06, Michigan went like 12-2 or something like that. They had 2 losses. They went undefeated until they go into Ohio State undefeated. Ohio State's undefeated with Troy Smith and Ted Ginn and them dudes, I believe. Yeah, Ted Ginn and them boys. I think Santonio Holmes, but Michigan was loaded. Chad Henne, Mike Hart, Steve Breston, Manningham, Adrian Arrington, just loaded. Lamar Woodley, David Harris, Marlon Jackson, I believe. So Michigan was loaded, but we end up losing a close game to Ohio State. Then we lose to USC in the bowl game, which who wants to be at that Rose Bowl when you're one play from from going to the championship. But anyway, so they lose 2 games that year. The next year, some of the dudes come back. I think Lamar Woodley left. I think Alan Branch left. Marlon Jackson left. So they lost a nice amount of some key players on the defense. Most of the offense came back. But that's the year. That's the Appalachian State. Yeah, that's that year. So they lost to App State. That's when the Oregon with the spread Chip Kelly offense came around and they just shredded us. Ever since then, we've had trouble with mobile quarterbacks, honestly, ever since then. With the mobile quarterbacks and the spread, all of that. And I think we lost to Wisconsin and Ohio State, and then they got it together and they won the bowl game against Florida, Tim Tebow and Percy Harvin and them boys. And basically, that was Lloyd Carr's last year. So that's the history of what he's talking about. So they went from a team that almost made the championship trying to come back the next year, and it just doesn't come together. The reason I don't think that's going to happen with this team, the 2023 team, is because this team is a little bit hungrier, I want to say. That team was feeling that. Every year is different, but you can't play a new season and already be feeling yourself, like really feeling yourself like you've like you're the champs already or something. And that team had a little arrogance to it. And I say that because I remember they were saying we're looking like the New England Patriots with Henne, Mike Hart, and Steve Breston and Adrian Arrington and Manningham. They were saying we're looking like the New England Patriots. That was the best NFL team at the time. That was Brady, I think Maroney, Wes Welker, Hernandez, and those boys. Hernandez and I forget the other tight end, but Wes Welker and Moss. So they're coming into the season talking like they're them. So to me, when you start feeling yourself too much, it leaves room for mistakes. And it leaves room for you not doing the little things that make you become a great team. I think that team was just feeling themselves too much straight out of the gate. This team is a little bit different because they're hungry and they've been humbled. They've been humbled. They just got humbled. So that 06 team, they barely lost to Ohio State, and then they lost to USC with Dwayne Jarrett and I want to say Carson Palmer. It might not have been Carson Palmer. It might have been Matt Leinart. But it was USC when it was USC. That's who they lost to. So Michigan lost to TCU, favored to beat them, and then got humbled because they were feeling themselves a little too much. Oh, we're going to run right over TCU. They trying to stop us with a 3-3-5. Good luck. So they got humbled last year, not against somebody like Georgia or Bama or even Ohio State. They got humbled by TCU. So you know what that tells them? We ain't as good as we thought we were. We got to put in that work. Yeah, we came back, but we got to do the little things that make you become great. We got to do all the little things. We can't take anybody for granted just because we're a loaded Michigan team. No, we can't take anyone for granted. We have to stay hungry and have to stay focused on the ultimate goal and whoever's in front of us. So that's why I don't really think they're going to have that problem because, one, they understand how hard it is, and two, a lot of these players were there in 2020 when it was real bad. A lot of these players were there for that 2020 debacle. So they know how it can be, and you can't take it for granted. So guys like Blake and Sainristil, Steele, your leaders, they've been there. They've seen it. You know what I'm saying? Chris Jenkins, I believe, was there. So you still have leaders that were there when it was bad in 2020 and looking like everything's about to be torn apart. So that hunger is still in them it's like when you start making money but you were broke and you've been broke and you made that promise to yourself, I'll never be broke again. You had a breaking point and you said, I'll never be broke again. You know what I'm saying? Because you know that feeling. You never want to feel it like that again. So you can't take anything for granted, and you always hungry to stay on top of your bread. Same way they got to stay on top of their game and stay focused because they just had a reminder of it. Oh, you feeling yourself? Okay. TCU smacking you in the mouth. You can't run it. It's on JJ. JJ getting pick sixes, getting humbled. And you know what? Humbling, you can get humbled and it can go two ways. You can start doubting yourself and just doubting, am I that good? And you know what I'm saying? You start taking steps back. Or you can put that work in and be better. Oh, if this happens again, I'll be ready. If I have to throw for 400, 500, I'll be ready. And that's what they're saying. JJ's putting in the work. So to me, this team is focused on the goal of winning. Same thing as always. Their goals stay the same for the most part until probably 2024 when the schedules change a little bit. Michigan State, Penn State, Ohio State, win the Big Ten. You do that, you're going to make the playoff, win the championship. So the goal is there, and they're focused on the goal. You know what I'm saying? That 06 team, I don't think they were focused, like laser focused on what the goal was. They were just kind of feeling themselves like, oh, we got dudes that are going in the NFL. We're going to just walk through we're just going to walk through teams. Football don't work like that. I mean, any sport doesn't really work like that. But football especially, you better be strapped up and ready to go. You think you just gonna walk out here and get a dub? No, We came focused. We ready to beat y'all. We ready to shock the world. When we lost to App State, it wasn't a true shocker, but it was shocking to see them when they got Michigan's attention, that Michigan couldn't, slow them down and, win it. They made it a game because they punched Michigan in the mouth early. I remember watching that game, but that goes into it. First game of the year, you get punched in the mouth. And you weren't ready. Then you come back to Oregon. Oregon shreds you. You know what I'm saying? That team was just too cocky. And they had some injuries after that, but they were just too cocky. They were feeling themselves too much. I don't think this team is feeling themselves like that. And also, last thing, I'm going to wrap this up. Also, with Harbaugh, I don't think he's going to let them start feeling themselves like that with this. It's just the way that his teams are made with the running game and, leaning on the running game when things aren't going well and things like that. It's hard for the team to get too cocky with that, I guess you could say. I don't know. That's just how I think about it. But as you can see, they got cocky against TCU, got humbled. So for me, that humbling experience against TCU, that put a fire in them we can't take anything for granted. We're thinking about Georgia when we got to play TCU. And TCU done hit us in the mouth because anybody can be beat. I don't care if it's an SEC team. I don't care who it is. You come out there and you ain't focused and you ain't got a good game plan and you're not ready to play and you're not respecting your opponent, oh, you can get beat. I don't care what nobody say. You can get beat. So that's what I think about it. I don't see a letdown year. I just don't really see it because this team is focused and they're loaded, but to me they're focused on the goals. And it's not like their focus is, oh, we got to win the Big Ten. It's those big games are focused. They're focused on those big games, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State. And I think just in general, they know it's college football. You can't really lose but once and still, they can lose one game and still get their goals 9 times out of 10. But you lose to a team that's not Penn State, Michigan State, or OSU. Your season is in jeopardy because you could still lose one of those games. So let's say we lost to Maryland. That's going to put a chink in your season goals because let's say you lose to Penn State. That's 2 losses. You ain't making the playoff with that. You know what I'm saying? But let's say you just lose to Ohio State. Yeah, you might lose one of your goals, beat Ohio State. But if you've been running through everybody, there's still a possibility you can make the playoff like they did last year. I know they backed in, but it's still a possibility. You know what I'm saying? So I think the focus is heavy on them, and they know what's at stake. You know what I'm saying? I think this team is just way more focused, and I think the culture is honestly better than that team. Because they lost some leaders on defense, and that's why that defense that year took a step back. But I see this team focused on the goals and also the maturation of your young quarterback. I think JJ maturing and taking those lumps against TCU, that should pay dividends this year. You know what I'm saying? Because JJ really didn't have the chance to, he didn't really lose games. You know what I'm saying? We were undefeated, had to come back against Illinois. No Blake, no Donovan. Still got out of there with the win, faced some adversity. But now you in the playoff. You going up against TCU, you're supposed to win. Oh, we can't run it. JJ, what you gonna do? Pick six. All right, we fighting back. JJ shredding them. All right, we gonna take this game. Pick 6. It's just not enough. Who's to blame? Your quarterback. So JJ, and from what I've been hearing, JJ's taken a lot of lumps and put it on himself that, I lost that game. I gave them 14 points. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's putting in the work to get better. So I think, now I'm going to put a bow on this. I think as total, the goals from 2021 to 2022 to 2023, the culture, the goals, and all these players that have been there through the ride, and they can see that, all right, we're loaded. If we don't get it this year, most of us are gone. We got to focus in and get this job done, or at least give it the best try as we got. It ain't guaranteed, but let's give it the best we got to win the Big Ten, beat our rivals, and win the championship. Make the playoff and win the championship. So, JJ, junior year. Blake, Donovan, veterans. Cornelius, veteran. Roman Wilson, veteran. Plus the younger guys. Loveland and all the young guys on the bench at wide receiver. Your defense. A lot of these dudes have seen the bad times and seen what it's like to win, but be just short. Multiple years. So now it's, all right, this is our best chance now. Harbaugh even is realizing, like, okay, if I don't get it done this year, I'm going to have a slight rebuild. I got a chance to maybe get a championship. And I'm going to touch on this one thing. Well, I'm going to save that for another video. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't see this team being the 07 just because of all the things I just said and the culture and the things that they've been through, from the players left over from 2020 to all the players that went through 2021, 2022, and realize what's happening and what can happen in 2023 if they just stay focused game to game. Like the old cliche, one game at a time. That's going to be big this year. But Michigan is loaded. I'm not going to lie. They loaded. Offensive line, defensive line. Just that in general can make you very hard to beat. But then adding in JJ, Blake, Donovan, CJ, Roman, Loveland, Will Johnson, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Josiah Stewart. I know that's we'll see, but I believe he's gonna be a stud. You know what I'm saying? Derek Moore, Junior Colson, Hausman from Nebraska. His team has got it. Rod Moore, All-American. I'm speaking it. All-American. Makari Page. So the team just it's got a lot of talent to finish this job or get close. So I want to touch on something else, but I don't want to make this too long. So I'm just going to get off of here and I'm going to make another video. So like, share, subscribe. And as always, go blue.
It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. It's great to be